Well, I still don't have an NES Classic Edition, or a Super NES Classic Edition for that matter, but that's okay because today we're here to talk about the Atari Flashback 7. Yeah, I know the Atari Flashback 8 Gold is the latest and greatest, but maybe you're balling on a budget and don't mind saving a few dollars by getting last year's model. Maybe your local laundromat's cabinets are out of order and you need a quick fix. Well, if so, then this is the video for you. The Atari Flashback 7 is everything that you could want from an Atari clone emulator console, if all you want is to play some classic titles. The 7 has a pretty good selection of first-party games, with 101 games total. Well, what is there to say about the Atari Flashback 7 that hasn't been said of its predecessors? It's still made of the same cheap materials, they just managed to squeeze a few more games into every release. If only they would include a cartridge slot to play classic Atari carts. The system comes with two wireless controllers that require two AAA batteries each. They work relatively well as long as you keep the infrared sensors free of obstruction. Now, with an actual VCS or 2600, you can use Sega Genesis controllers and vice versa, but I had some difficulty there with the Flashback 7. It didn't properly recognize the D-pad. I did, however, try a third-party 2600 controller that worked flawlessly. Now, there is a deluxe version that includes paddles, but that ain't the one I got. And good luck trying to have a good time playing Breakout without paddles, by the way. You can end a game and return to the main menu at any time by pressing the Start and Select buttons. It's a pretty decent collection of games, but it doesn't have everything. Still no Pac-Man or other Namco games. There's a ton of games that you're probably never going to find in the Flashback series. Sometimes you just have to go with the original. Anyway, the AV is composite only, which looks good enough on a CRT television, but not so great on an HD television. I do think it's admirable that they attempted to recreate the game artwork for the menu screen, but it could look better. The main appeal here is the 2600's ports of arcade classics. There's a reason they put Frogger and Centipede on that box. Just don't expect the Pac-Man family. The thing is, while the Atari Flashback is a fairly decent product, it's not a great product. Certainly not great enough to spend $50 or more on. There's this sort of unspoken fact when it comes to the 2600 games. For the sake of nostalgia, most people don't want to speak ill of these games, but let's face it, these games are primitive. How much replay value will there really be for future generations growing up on games that look like movies? I think the audience for these is starting to dwindle. I personally think they should put more focus on the stronger games. Centipede and Millipede hold up, and look at Jungle Hunt. It's an action game that's easy to play and understand. Comparatively, look at the Sword Quest games. They have some interesting elements and look pretty good for 2600 graphics. I particularly like the animation for walking through doorways. But without the manual, you don't know the story or the objectives. It's an incomplete experience. Some of these games are practically impossible to play without the manual to explain the scenario and controls. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing in this game. I think this is an opportunity for improvement. Pros: decent selection of first-party titles, includes two wireless controllers. Kiddies like it! Cons: only composite video out, no HDMI. No paddle controllers, in this version. No no Pac-Man. In conclusion, I'll just say, if you're wanting to play a few 2600 games and you can find one on the cheap, definitely go for it. Otherwise, maybe hold out for the Flashback 8. That's it for this week. As always, thank you for watching.